Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we're feeling it in our jellies. It's our review discussion of Detective Pikachu. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellis. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. How's it going, Mark?
It's going great. We were doing a little dance.
We were.
To the theme music this time. Do you consider yourself a good dancer?
Yes. I consider if I'm in a situation where I'm like, you're going to dance tonight, then yes.
Is that a situation where you're telling yourself?
Yes.
Like, you are going to dance tonight, or is that somebody commanding you?
No.
Like, you're going to dance, or like you're an understudy in a Broadway show and somebody's like, you're going to dance tonight.
Usually I'm in a Broadway audience, and right before the curtain, someone peeks out and points to me and says, you're going to dance tonight. Because I need to save the show or something.
Yeah.
Because the Muppets need to raise enough money to save the theater. And so, they need one more act, and it's gotta be me, baby! And then I give it all I got.
You live a very rich and exciting life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a good dancer?
I think from the waist up.
From the waist up,
if I'm
you
like
think you got no
if I'm
foot moves.
standing, well, I have rhythm, right?
Uh-huh,
so
yeah.
I can stay on the beat, but where the magic happens is all in the shoulders. Ah, ta, cha cha. And so if I'm standing behind a couch, I think I would really be wowing the room, and standing out from behind a couch.
Not a lot of couches on dance floors, though, I noticed.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends where you're dancing. I go to a lot of house parties.
Oh, all right.
I'm very popular.
Calm down. The last wedding that I went to, I was like, I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna dance as hard as I can, as sweaty as I can.
That's the way to do it if you're going to.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. The nights that I commit myself to being like, this is a night that you're going to dance to every song that you even remotely like, then I just have a great time and end up sweating through every article of clothing that I own. They don't even have to be with me or on my body. I went to a wedding in Minnesota. I was sweating through clothes that were back here in California.
Speaking of sweating through your clothes,
yes,
you would love to borrow Patrick's copy of Sonic Forces.
Look, of the things that I have sweat through in my possession, my copy of Sonic Forces is not one of them. It's very sweat-free.
Yeah, I mean, borrowing his copy is no sweat at all.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm
myself
patting myself on the back for that one.
Let's just close up this episode now.
I mean, really, it's in contradiction to the way that I segued into giving away Sonic Forces. But, gold is gold. It doesn't matter how you come by it.
That's right. It strikes when it strikes, just like lightning. You can borrow my copy of Sonic Forces by emailing us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com with your mailing address, and I send you my copy of Sonic Forces. Eventually. There's a list right now.
Yeah, but it's super easy. Return postage is included.
That's right. All relevant postage is included. And there's no time limit on this thing. You keep it for as long as you want.
Here's something that there is a bit of a time limit on, because if you sleep on it, you're going to miss out.
Yeah, and while there is a time limit, we've not figured out what it is yet.
Yeah, but I don't know, a week?
Couple weeks, yeah. Uh-oh, we don't even agree. Why don't you tell them what it is?
Okay, so we, of course, saw Detective Pikachu as part of seeing it opening weekend. We each got a pack of Detective Pikachu playing cards. Mine is unopened, Patrick's is opened, but that just means what you're getting in half of this.
Yeah, it's a Detective Pikachu with the coffee break special ability and a Jigglypuff.
They're both adorable.
Yeah, that's right.
My pack is guaranteed to have a Detective Pikachu, but unknown what the second card is. Maybe it's even better than a Jigglypuff. Hard to do, but maybe possible.
It could be anything. If it's a $5 bill, it's probably better than
than the
Jigglypuff.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I'd be a little bit sad we gave it away. But that's what we're doing.
That's right.
You go on Twitter and recommend our show to a friend and tag us in the post at NinCart Society, we'll enter you into a drawing to get our Detective Pikachu Pokemon cards. Recommend us to 2 friends. We'll put you in the drawing twice.
Right. Recommend us to 3 friends. I think you get the pattern. We'll put you in there 3 times. 4 friends, quit showing off.
But I mean, we will still put you in there 4
Of
times.
course, of
Yeah.
course. And then another thing that we are trying to do, we are trying to get to 100 reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, thank you to everybody who has reviewed us so far. And even if you're not reviewing us in Apple Podcasts, we really appreciate it when you recommend us or review us anywhere.
Right. Reviews anywhere are good. It draws people to the show. That's all very helpful. Okay, Mark, let's get into it. I guess quick warning before we dive in. This is going to be a totally spoiler-filled episode about Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, pretty much from the get-go. There's no grace period.
But yeah, that's right. We hit the ground running. So please enjoy this episode with two of the hosts from the Inside the Disney Vault podcast, Clare Loughran and
Rachel Chapman.
Rachel Chapman. Thank you.
Oh, and there's a little bit of audio weirdness.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. There's a little bit. It's like 20 minutes in the conversation here. We have a little bit of an audio glitch, and then you'll hear some music, and then we're back. You didn't miss anything. Don't worry. All right, let's get into our review of Detective Pikachu. We are joined today by two of the hosts from the Inside the Disney Vault podcast. We've got Rachel Chapman and Clare Loughran.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for seeing this movie with us. We all just got back from the theater where we saw Detective Pikachu.
Oh, yeah.
We love movies.
I mean, that's what you guys talk about, right?
Yeah.
You talk
Oh, yeah.
about movies.
Yeah, we watch Disney movies in chronological order and then talk about them.
Yeah, specifically we watch Disney movies, but we love all movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's...
Not all movies.
I
you
mean,
don't love all movies?
I'm open to loving all movies.
What are 3 movies you don't love?
Oh.
Um,
Whoa.
There was I've only ever wanted to walk out of like 2 movies. Never Back Down. Have you guys even heard
What is
of
that?
No.
It was like a fighting movie that I was dragged to in high school,
Oh,
and it
boy.
was bad. And then the second one was Little. I
Oh.
saw Little.
Little had some rough
It was
bits.
really bad, and I
Mhm.
wanted to walk out.
That's disappointing. I always
Yeah.
want a body swap movie to be good.
Oh,
it
me
was,
too.
It was half an hour too long at least.
It
It
was-
seems like body swap movies should be really easy to make,
Yeah.
but it's hard to find a good one.
What?
I think so.
Oh. Well, I mean, Big.
Oh, that's one out of
Yeah.
a lot of body swap movies.
Freaky Friday.
Also, that
Freaky
wasn't a
Friday.
body swap. He was in
But
his own body.
that
It was
was-
just
No, but I
bigger.
think
But that's
that
what
still
Little
counts.
is.
It's,
Yeah,
it's like
Little's
that's like the
that.
premise.
Little was that.
It's Little's that, but the opposite.
reverse.
Yeah.
The only movie I've ever walked out of was Excess Baggage
What?
with Alicia Silverstone.
Oh.
It was, I think she directed it. In
Oh
fact,
no.
my sister. I
Oh.
was really little. My sister and I went to like the dollar theater, like the second run theater, to see it. It was so bad that we left.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Oh, I wanted to when I still had Movie Pass and I was just seeing anything. I went and saw the Overboard remake.
Oh
Oh.
no.
That was one that I was like, I don't think I can do this, but I somehow made myself.
Yeah.
It was just so unnecessary. Like the original Overboard, sure, I know there are problems now looking back, but it's so good.
But
it's
yeah,
solid. You
'cause
don't
it's
need to
anchored
redo
by
it.
those performances.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
They're both so good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You guys have a problem with Anna Faris?
Well, yeah. It was.
I love her. I
do
just
love her.
rewatched
It
What's Your
was-
Number, and that's a great movie.
Oh, what's your Leonard Maltin loves that movie. The
Huh?
famous movie reviewer Leonard Maltin loves
Oh,
that movie.
I love that movie. Well, it's also Chris Evans.
It's hard to say no to Chris Evans. I think I've
Right.
walked out of 3 movies
Oh.
in my lifetime. One is Battlefield Earth.
Oh.
Walked out of Battlefield Earth.
Were you going to see it ironically, or did you not Did you not know what Battlefield Earth was before you went?
I mean, I would have been like 16 or 17, so I think I was just excited to see like a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I was going to it unironically, didn't know what it was. And then I walked out of / left because I threw up in the theater.
Oh, no.
Waterworld.
You were
Oh.
so disgusted. You barfed.
That's right.
and
You got
left.
seasick.
Yeah, that was the family joke. Thank you for filling the role of my father there, Mark.
I do that in a lot of ways for Patrick.
That's true. And then I walked out of also The Notebook, but not because I wasn't enjoying it. I enjoyed it a lot. I was there with my friend Joe, who had just broken up with his girlfriend,
Oh,
and at one
no.
point he just went, I can't, and walked out.
Oh, that's hard.
And so I went and was with him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
So it's really only one movie that I've walked
Yeah.
out of on principle, and
Yeah.
that was Battleship Earth. Battlefield Earth?
Battlefielder.
Battlefield Earth.
That's the John Travolta one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. I had the image pop into my head. He's like an alien looking
Yeah.
He has dreadlocks.
Yeah, that's it.
It's all Dutch angles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's way Scientology.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
But let's talk about
But
Detective
also
Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu, which we did not walk out
No,
on.
No,
I
we watched the
enjoyed
whole
it.
thing. I did not like this movie.
You didn't like it at all?
No, I liked I
Aw.
liked the first act. I thought the first act was really fun. But no, overall I didn't really like it.
So we are going to go into full spoilers.
Yeah,
eventually
mega
here.
spoilers.
I don't think there's a way to talk about this movie without spoiling.
No.
No, I
Yeah.
mean it's a mystery. So
It's
like,
yeah.
Well, especially the part that I especially find not problematic, but I was just like, what? This doesn't make any sense. This is terrible.
Mhm.
Happens at the very end. So-
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Right,
okay.
okay.
So I can't talk
Yeah.
about it without
Yeah,
spoiling
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Right,
So
Well,
we're
and
just
also
gonna
like
spoil
because
it.
they're on sort of a journey, it's like things are revealed as the movie goes on. So
Right.
you can't really go
Right.
without that.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and also it's just more fun to talk about what happens in the movie.
Yeah.
I love spoiling stuff.
Let's
so
just spoil it all.
Pause.
Yeah.
So let's
Go
take the-
see it.
Yes,
and
this
then
one,
come
yes,
back.
yes,
Right.
yes. If you don't want spoilers, pause now. Still safe.
Go see it.
And we're back.
Hey.
Okay, so you're wearing a Jigglypuff shirt.
Yeah.
So, what is your feeling about Pokemon, Rachel, in general,
I
or
like.
your familiarity with it?
I'm not super familiar with it. I have a shirt because it was given to me for a Christmas gift exchange, but I do love Pokemon. I just was never. Here's the thing. I'm an obsessive person, so like if I like something, I really like it. And I think Pokemon was a thing where I was like, I could get really into this,
Yes.
but I'm gonna let it go. You
Oh,
know?
yeah, you
Yeah.
had to pump the
Um,
brakes.
Also, when I was young and it first started, my dad was really into collecting trading like cards and stuff, so he bought me a pack of Pokemon. And my first one, I got a Charizard foil card, and I was like, "This is like one of the best ones, right?" So I was like, "I'm gonna stop."
Going
Stop
out
while
on
you're
top.
ahead.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
stop. So I stopped, but I will say one of my favorite games to play ever was Pokemon Snap.
Oh, Pokemon Snap's a good one.
Yeah.
You just take pictures of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh.
I really
Like,
love taking
You
pictures.
like explore the area.
You ride in like a little cart and you're riding along and you have to snap pictures of Pokemon, and then at the end you get like points depending on how good your picture is. And there's like some
Oh.
Pokemon that are hiding that you have to kind of like get a picture of by like throwing things or doing something, right? There's the is it Snorlax? Is that what's
Mhm,
it?
Snorlax,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
you have to wake them up. So then you get a good picture of
Mhm.
So for those of us who don't really know about Pokemon,
Yeah, Claire.
what would you say is like the main premise of a normal the OG Pokemon game? Because there's so many
Yeah.
variations, right?
Right. And a lot of the variations are really just like the exact same formula over and over again.
Just like theming.
Or they just changed the setting. Yeah, exactly. And like the character is different and like the story is different, but your goal and how you play the game is pretty much the same in all mainline Pokemon games.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that premise is the world is populated with humans and Pokemon. And Pokemon are just like a bunch of different kinds of like animals and weird little creatures,
Like in the movie.
Mhm.
just like in the movie.
Okay.
And the humans, they like capturing them and they
Mhm.
like making them battle each other. And
Oh.
it seems like the whole human economy is built around the capturing and battling of Pokemon.
Like in the movie.
Like in
Yeah.
the movie. And the movie does a pretty good job of explaining
That's
like
see.
that's the normal.
Okay.
for
Yes.
Pokemon.
Yes. Okay.
And that this one is different because they're like, we live in a place where the Pokemon and the people like just live
Live
together
together.
and they don't fight.
So I feel like the movie did a very good job for someone who doesn't know anything about Pokemon to explain it without being heavy-handed.
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
think so too.
Because
Yeah,
I got
agreed.
that, and I think that's kind of what my understanding was anyway. It's like, okay, you go around and you catch them, and then you just have them, or
Yeah.
they fight, and some
Yeah.
are more powerful because they all have different skills or
Mhm.
powers.
Exactly.
Right. And so some of them are like more effective against other kinds. Like there's a whole like wheel of weaknesses and types and all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
To know who
It's
is
a
good
lot.
against fighting what. And the movie does a couple times like mention the names of individual moves that like the Pokemon have. So like it's aware of like people's obsessive nature with the games, right? Like it
Yeah.
knows that they need to like feed that like hungry Pokemon fan
Mhm.
with like specifics.
Yeah, there was that one point where he's like, "You have to pick your Pokemon," and he was like, "Well, the water type. You're not a water type," or something like that.
Yeah. He's kind of yes. Right at the very beginning. Well, should we try to like walk through the movie
Yeah.
or like?
yeah, or at least like briefly.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
then we can like get into it.
And
Yeah.
Claire has no connection to Pokemon at all. Right?
None. Never heard of it.
Right.
Never heard of it.
Never. I didn't even know how to say the word before today. I was like,
it was really hard for
Pokemon?
it was really hard for her to buy her ticket.
What? I couldn't even pronounce it.
Yeah, the guy's
And
like,
the dude
"What
at
do
the-
you want to say?"
Yeah, it was
I was
not
like-
being helpful at all.
I was
No.
like,
You
"Oh."
know what she's
I was
saying.
like, there's something a Pokemon detective. What is that? No, like pretty much that was what I knew. I was like, there's a game that people play. They're very obsessive over it, and I think you catch them. And then of course there was Pokemon Go,
Right.
which
Yeah.
happened
Yeah.
I'm
a
sure
couple
you had
years
like
ago.
seen Pikachu. Like you knew what
Yeah,
a Pikachu was.
I think I could probably name like 5 to 10 Pokemon
do it.
before this. Well, now okay,
Well, now you know a lot.
sort of. I think kind of like just I don't know. They didn't really give any new. Well, yeah, maybe I know more. I knew Jigglypuff. I knew Pikachu. There's Chortle. Is that one? Squirtle? Are those
There
the
you go,
same?
Squirtle, there you go,
Squirtle.
I thought it was Chortle. That's just something else.
It's like a kind of laugh.
Yes, I thought it was the same. See, I'm doing great. There's a Charmander.
Mhm.
Here
Yeah.
we go. One
Um,
more, and we get to that 5
Oh
floor
boy.
that you
Okay, I'm
stated
cheating
earlier.
if I say Mew, right? Is it Mewtwo?
But
No.
no, I think that
No,
counts.
'cause-
Sure.
Mew's different.
But I wouldn't have remembered it before today. So I'll think back on if there's another. So I got to 4. Okay,
Wow.
That's it.
That's pretty good.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay, so walking through the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing we meet Tim, right,
Mhm.
and he's with his buddy,
Yeah.
and they're like catching.
Well, there's the lab.
First, yeah.
Oh yes,
We-
flashback.
yeah.
Lab.
We start with the lab. There's like we see the Mewtwo. Well, we don't know, right?
Right.
Well, I don't know. Do you know what a Mewtwo is before?
We see a big scary guy in a
Mhm.
tank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like a
Mewtwo.
He
Yeah,
looks
he is like a cat, but like an alien cat
Yeah.
who's like, I don't know, just like a little bit sexy, but like
Very,
not.
very shape of water.
Yes.
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 Very
He's
shape
That's
of
right.
water Pokemon.
Yeah,
He's
it was-
like in a tank.
Yeah, it was disturbing to me. Like all the Pokemon, I thought they were adorable,
Mhm.
really well rendered in the movie.
Yeah.
Like loved it. Mewtwo, his like
Sexy.
chunky, his like chunky
He had
human
a
legs.
voluptuous bottom half.
Yeah, well, and it starts with like a pan up of the Mewtwo's body.
Yeah.
Lingers for sure.
It lingers, and you're like, we are spending too much time on the Mewtwo's crotch to not think
Yeah.
about what's going on there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then we see it. He says something, so he talks in English, and he says something
Yeah.
like
He's like they're outside.
they're outside.
Well, he's like doing some like thinky talking.
To
Right?
Yeah.
himself?
yeah.
To who?
I can't tell if
Well,
it's
so at this point we don't know, but
Yeah.
he's presumably communicating with the Pikachu
Oh.
because the Pikachu is like is part of like
Oh,
blowing
that's
the,
right.
Yes,
You're
we
right.
don't-
The,
You're
like,
Yeah.
right.
So then we
locks
see
on-
a car speeding away from the lab, and
and
the
then
car.
explosion.
Yeah, as Mewtwo is chasing the car,
Yeah.
and then there's an explosion. The car falls off a bridge.
Mhm.
Cut to present day.
Yeah.
Right, and that's where we meet Tim.
Right.
Yes.
And Tim is like a 21-year-old, just kind of like he's not really a slacker because he has a job. He's an insurance salesman.
He
so
wears a
he's like,
tie.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's
He wears
like
a
buttoned
tie.
up. But the sense you're supposed to get from is that he's like just kind of wasting his
He's
life.
not
He's
following his passion of being a Pokemon trainer.
Yes.
But that's a passion that he denies a couple times.
Yeah.
Right. That
Yeah.
he was like, that's behind me.
Right.
Yeah,
But
he's
So
like,
it's
I'm
linked
old
to
now.
his
I'm
father.
21.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Which just like in that moment I crumbled to dust.
I'm a 21-year-old
Yes.
crone.
Because he also looks so much younger than that too. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what? This kid's selling insurance?
Yeah, I
To
wasn't
who?
sure what he was, but then we kept pushing that he had a job. I was like, oh, okay, so he's not 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's confusing because when we meet him and his friend, they're like playing in the grass, and his friend is wearing like a baseball cap.
Yeah.
Like they have the appearance of like just some kids
Yes.
out on like a sunny
like,
summer day.
backpacks
But
and
also
stuff.
the actor who plays his friend has been in a ton of stuff, and I feel like is much older.
Wasn't
Yeah.
okay, isn't the guy who plays his friend and correct me if I'm wrong, but like the cab driver and like Deadpool and
yes,
stuff?
correct.
Yeah.
That's-
Oh,
he's
yeah.
in
That is
a
that
ton of
guy.
stuff.
And
Oh,
so
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
he does seem much older than
Much
21.
older.
Yeah.
Much
Yeah.
older.
But so they're getting together to capture a Pokemon for old time's sake.
Yeah,
Right.
well, because he needs a he doesn't have one. And
Tim doesn't.
Yeah, he needs a partner, and so then this one has been crying all night, and so then they're like, "Oh, you guys should get together because you're."
Both lonely.
Yeah,
Right? So this is a Cubone.
yeah.
And I don't know a ton about Pokemon lore, but I do know that a Cubone wears the skull of its mother,
Oh no.
of its dead mother.
Oh, and Tim has a dead mom.
Tim also has a dead mother.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
He's
wow.
not wearing her skull, though.
What
I
a
don't
terrible
think.
friend.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's like you guys were late because you both have dead moms, right? Is that what he was trying to say?
I think he was saying you're sad. This thing is sad by nature.
Yeah.
So, spend some time together.
Yeah. So he tries.
Accept the fact that you're sad.
Yeah. He tries to capture him, and it's a thing where they're like, well, he has to also want you, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So Tim is rejected by a Pokemon
Yeah.
very
So
early in this movie.
Karan Sony is 30 years old.
Oh,
Oh,
gross.
wow.
Gross.
He's so young looking. What's
yeah,
his
you put
skin
anyone in a
regimen?
baseball hat.
Yeah.
What cream do you use?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the Pokemon rejects him.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, so then,
Go.
because basically the whole idea is that Tim used to want to be a Pokemon trainer, and but that was when he was with his dad and his family was together. And then his mom dies. He doesn't see his dad anymore, so he's put all of that stuff away. He tries to be I'm just not interested. That's not what my life is.
Mhm.
They come out of the forest, and he gets a phone call. He finds out that his dad has died in a car accident, which is the car accident that we see at the the opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes to Rhyme City, which is a place where Pokemon and humans just coexist and live together. They
And
help each other out.
It's a very clean New York City, but also looks like London, I think.
Looks
Totally.
like Tokyo.
Yeah,
I
and then
was getting a little
the
Tokyo vibe from it
font
too.
has but there's that one building. I
yeah,
don't know,
that looks like a bullet or a torpedo.
Yeah.
that I'm
like
sure is pretty much just
like a weird egg.
a building
any
in London.
metropolitan. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But he takes the train, and that's where we get the explanation
Oh,
of Rhyme
yes.
City. It's
Even though that was very obviously exposition, I feel like it did such a good, concise job of hey, here's the deal: Pokemon used to be battling, but here we all live in harmony and we're
Yeah.
best friends.
Well, because
'Cause
it
Clifford-
establishes both Pokemon Normal, which is something that you need to establish, and then here's why Pokemon Normal doesn't exist here. There are two different high concept things that need to be established before we can start telling the story.
Yeah, and the reason that Rhyme City exists is because an old guy whose name I forgot,
Clifford?
who's played
Bill
by
Nye.
His
yeah
last
Bill
name.
Nye.
Yeah.
He got sick, and so he was trying to use Pokemon. He was trying to learn from Pokemon about their evolutions in a way that he could use evolving
Yeah.
to cure his illness, and so he
Yeah.
created Rhyme
I
City.
thought it was an interesting
which-
concept. Yeah,
yeah.
wouldn't it be cool if humans could evolve to their best selves?
Yeah.
What?
And so
Whoa,
so
dude.
he founded
Whoa.
Rhyme City as sort of this Walt Disney Epcot-esque
Oh,
area
yeah.
that
Very
that-
Epcot.
that Pokemon and humans can live together. And I'm gonna tell you, this stuff in Rhyme City I thought was so much was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love that
it's
part.
so dense. There are just people and Pokemon everywhere, all
This-
just going about their lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was very much also how I felt about Wreck-It Ralph, where I knew, I was I don't know these references necessarily, but it's so rich and you can tell it's all coming from a real knowledge base that it
Mhm.
just sort of exists in a way that they can play with.
It
So that was
remind-
very fun.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Where you're
yeah.
That was one of the movies people posted about.
yeah, at Maroon Studios or whatever, when the cartoon characters are interacting with the humans,
Yeah.
and there's cartoon characters from all different generations, and you don't necessarily recognize the individual ones, but it just you're saying, Claire, just makes it feel really fun and alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't even have to do extra work to make it feel like a full world because that just already exists, which is cool.
Yeah, and that all of the everything is so weird, right? All of the because I recognize the vast majority of these Pokemon, but they're every now and then there's something that I'm I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
But it's nice to just be able to take it on faith that that's a thing that is real and exists in this universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because for all I know, they could have been making them up. But
yeah.
They probably don't need to because there's so many Pokemon.
There are. There's
right?
like
There's like 800
800 or
yeah.
something.
So they just like went into the catalog and they were like, who should we put in this scene?
3 of these and
Yeah.
like a million Squirtles.
But it is funny that there's like a lot of Growliths.
Yeah.
Like they
What's
show up
the
everywhere.
Growlithe?
It's like the kind of like cat/lion type looking thing that's like
Ooh.
walking, that has like a mane that's always like walking around
Oh.
with people, like a dog almost, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a
What was
Bernese
the
Mountain Dog. but
panda-looking one?
that one was
Because
so
I've never
cute.
seen that one before.
I don't know what that's called.
I don't know it either. And then
Okay.
there's like the big version of it that
Yeah.
has 3 heads.
Yeah.
Oh, was that what was going on? I thought it was like a big one and then a small one.
Yeah, I think it
playing
was a
on
big
it.
one and then like 2 babies like
But it
running
did
around.
look
really?
like
it
it
looked
had
like
multiple
it
heads.
looked like it had multiple heads to
It
me.
did.
Which seems like a perfectly normal Pokemon
Right, yeah,
design.
no, that's
Yeah.
fair. It totally could be. I also felt like this is when the movie was at its cutest.
Yes.
So you see like the Snorlax just like sitting
Oh,
there,
he's just
like
sitting-
snoring in the middle
Oh
of
my gosh.
traffic.
He's so cute. Take a
That's-
picture of him.
So there are multiples of all the Pokemon. Does that mean there are multiple Pikachus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, why is it? So it's like you're calling Pikachu, but that's who he is. So it's like if you talk to all the humans, they're like human.
Well,
human.
so in the games, when you capture like a Pokemon, you're able to give it a new name.
Oh, okay.
So they're not actually
Oh.
like that's like their species or whatever, but not actually necessarily their name.
So Pikachu is not Pikachu's name.
So you're just like saying like,
What's
hey,
Ash's-
doggy, hi doggy.
Yeah.
Ash's Pikachu is named Pikachu.
Oh, okay.
He's not very
Yeah,
creative.
he's not creative at all.
He's named his dog Doggy.
But I think Pikachu is always like a character that in like Pokemon stuff that they are very like scarce with though, right? Like they won't introduce another Pikachu into a narrative where like the main Pikachu is like we didn't see a second Pikachu in this movie.
No.
No,
In
that
the
would have been
narrative, for sure.
confusing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that would have had to be a plot point if there was another one.
Yeah.
Because it's
Even-
just so specifically this Pikachu.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, it's also just so cute that you like there can only be one.
He's
Yeah,
so cute.
He
so
really
cute.
is.
He's
The whole
very
time I was
cute.
like, man, merch, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
He's like cuter than the drawing of Pikachu in Pokemon
Because he's like
cards.
fluffy like a cat.
Yeah.
Also, they make him sad a bunch.
Yeah.
And they give him like those little like eyebrow like forehead wrinkles where it's like
Yeah.
he's concerned.
Yeah.
And he loves you.
And his eyes are just so big.
Yeah. So that kid has to go to the police department to get the
the
apartment keys
Yeah.
to his dad's apartment.
Because his dad was a detective.
Yeah.
Right. So he's meeting with Detective Yoshida to get the information about his dad.
Yeah.
And Yoshida's like, let me help you process this grief. And Tim's like, nah, I don't
Nah.
need that. I just need a key.
Yeah, because I don't even really want to get to know my dad. I just want to wrap this up and like go back to my life.
So, do we find out every person in this town kind of has like a companion Pokemon?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the deal here.
His is
Yeah.
the Snubbull, right?
Right. That like pink dog
It
thing.
looks like a bulldog.
It does look like a bulldog.
And he's growling.
He doesn't seem happy.
No.
It seems like an unhappy Pokemon.
No,
Yeah.
there's a lot of fun business with the Pokemon.
Yeah.
All their
Put
little
that-
quirks.
Put that on a poster. There's a lot of fun business with the Pokemon.
That's my review.
So Tim goes to his father's apartment building.
Yeah.
And there's someone staked out by his dad's mailbox.
Yeah.
And this is Lucy. Lucy is a reporter for CNM.
Oh, she's like an intern
She
who
is.
Yeah.
is like posturing as a
She
reporter.
writes listicles.
Right. She wants to be a reporter,
Mhm.
but we just in the movie when she's at work, she is just like getting coffee for people. and
So
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
presumably she's just been standing at the top of the stairs for days.
Days.
Yeah.
Because she was like, I've been waiting for someone to use that mailbox. But she just was there waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and maybe like there was a lot of stuff in that mailbox too. So
Yeah.
like, how long has Tim's dad been gone?
And every time the mail person comes, she's like, I've been waiting for someone to use
He's
this
like,
Yeah.
mailbox.
no, still just
It's
me.
just me.
Putting more like credit card offers in there.
And then her companion is the Psyduck.
Uh-huh. Who
Yeah.
can't be stressed out or he
No.
like goes atomic.
Yeah.
And the Psyduck was really cute.
Really cute. Also very relatable. If I get stressed out, oh boy.
Yeah. I
What
just-
a funny companion to choose.
yeah,
Yeah.
Psyduck is an old favorite of mine just because it's so dumb looking. Like it's got those huge eyes and tiny little pupils
Yeah.
and a big dumb duck bill. God, I love him so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just like stressed out and weird in this one,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is fun too.
Which is like a bad combo with a reporter who's going to be in some high stress situations.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but it seems like the Pokemon that you choose are a little bit like represent you as a person, right?
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah, the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like all of the people. Yeah, I guess that's true. That like every Pokemon that we see matched up with a person is similar to them. Like later when we meet the like fighting ring guy, he's like a big blustery,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he's got the Charizard. So like,
Like how people start to resemble their dogs.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So Lucy is a character in this movie, but other than like,
hold on,
I feel
though,
like
she's got the best line in the whole movie.
what?
Which is when she says that she just writes listicles 10 cutest Pokemon who it's so pointless. They're all cute.
Yeah.
That's the best line. In the
That was
movie.
funny. That was funny.
It was very relatable though, because I have to write a lot of listicles for work. So I was like, yeah, no, I get that.
You didn't like her? Like,
No,
as a
I liked her
character?
fine. I just thought that like, she was very thin.
Mm.
Like the only character
Oh,
that's
yeah.
really like defined at all is Tim.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. Well, it's like also this. I think this is a family movie, so the characters don't have to be too in depth. I don't think. I mean, they should be from a good movie standpoint, but when it comes to like family movies, you don't want to be thinking too much about the characters.
Yeah, there are a lot
Yeah.
of questions of like, who is she? Where'd she come from?
Yeah.
And how did she figure out to stand at the top of these stairs?
Right. Like,
And
why
for-
is she
for how
onto this
long?
like story into the first place? And I know like you don't necessarily have to like think about it too much.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times in this movie where you're like, that doesn't really make any sense if you think about it for like 2 seconds.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he like shoos her away, then he goes up into.
She takes no for an answer right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. She's like, I have been waiting here for 5 days straight, but I
But
will
I'll
be
see
leaving
ya.
now.
Yeah.
And so he goes upstairs to the apartment, and while he's rifling around in his or just looking through his dad's things, he has this like he finds this like little tube that he opens it up, and this gas escapes,
Purple.
Yeah, uh-oh.
and it makes some monkey-looking Pokemon things.
Are these
That are
guys called
outside.
ape bomb, something like that?
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Mm.
Yes.
But it makes them go like feral.
Yeah, it makes him go crazy.
It's
Mhm.
very
Mhm.
Zootopia.
It is very Zootopia. This
Zootopia.
movie is basically Who Framed Roger Rabbit
Uh-huh.
mixed with Zootopia,
Yes.
mixed with the third act of the original Batman movie.
Oh.
Yes. Well, yes. Mixed with the stage Poke Floats from Smash Brothers.
Yes.
Mixed with the sequence on the train from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
That's true. That's where we get the exposition dump, where it's like, here's what goes on in this world. But
But that's also like the train ride from Zootopia, where
also true.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
She's like going from her small town to like the big city.
So Tim unleashes this gas, is also exposed to it himself, which at first, like later, he's gonna think that that's what allows him to talk to the Pikachu,
Yes.
but it's not.
No.
Yeah.
Right?
Spoiler.
And that's when we meet Detective Pikachu.
Yes. Comes in, is he's there because the address is on the inside of his hat,
Yes.
Yeah.
but he can't remember anything.
No,
Yeah.
he lost his memory in
the car crash.
accident.
Yeah.
Presumably, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Immediately after
He
the
knows that.
accident.
He
Yeah.
knows.
And
He knows that there was an
starts
accident.
speaking to Tim, expecting that he won't be able to understand him.
Yeah.
But Tim does understand him.
Yeah.
And
Yes, and it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
it's Ryan. Yes.
It's Ryan Reynolds.
It's very much Ryan Reynolds.
Doing like a PG
Derek-
Deadpool.
Yeah. I
basically.
almost said
Yeah.
Derek.
Just like constant commentary, which I felt like worked a lot of the time, but did not always work. Like there were times where it was like he just needs to not talk
Mm.
in this scene.
Sure, yeah, I think that's right. That he doesn't always, and there were times. Well, I guess because it makes sense that like Tim is talking to a person, and then like the Pikachu pipes up with something, and the other person doesn't respond because they just hear Pika Pika.
Oh, there's so many moments where you could tell they just like threw in the voiceover, the joke, and like Tim didn't even know it was like in the script.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
yeah,
just
sure.
like no response whatsoever.
Yeah,
And I feel
he
like
just
if
kept
that
going.
whatever were happening in real life, if someone were like making comments, you would at least be like, huh, or like, okay,
Right.
stop, we're,
Yeah.
we're trying to
You would
escape. You can
acknowledge it.
stop.
Yeah.
how do they go forward from here? Like
The monkeys attack them.
Yeah.
that's right. They have to run
monkeys
away
come
from
in.
monkeys.
Uh-huh. Because they're all hyped up on the purple smoke.
Which was
Yeah.
very scary because there were so many of them. But like logistically, they were moving really fast, and he was not moving as fast. But he somehow was able to escape them.
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of that like movie logic, right? Of
Yeah.
like your hero's always
Yeah.
4 steps ahead of the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
they
they
end up
take
going,
his belt and his shirt. Or no.
Right.
What did they take? They take
His pants.
His
His
pants.
pants.
Yeah.
And that's one of the examples of when Pikachu's like making comments on how they get crazier the more naked you get. Where it's like you wouldn't be able to say something like that in a situation.
Yeah.
You would have more tact than that.
Yeah. He's very like calm and cracking jokes in this like serious moment.
Yeah, he's very like immature. He loves coffee.
Yes.
Love-
These are like the
coffee.
things we know about Pikachu, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know if he's like a little bit immature. He's not. Well, I just got a face from Mark.
Wow.
Well, okay, because this is really like gets to my crux of the problem with this movie, which if we're jumping way ahead, it just turns out that the reason Pikachu can talk and
Big
communicate,
spoil, big
Yeah.
spoil, big
big
spoiler
spoil.
alert.
Here comes Big Spoil.
Can communicate with Tim is because
It's his dad.
it's his dad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
his
the-
dad is in the Pikachu.
his-
Talk about a body swap.
Yeah, but
movie.
also, this is where I'm like, well, he would recognize the voice, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
well,
because
maybe
they
not.
haven't seen each other for a really long time,
Oh,
presumably.
okay.
But no, like Pikachu in this movie is basically like your obnoxious college like buddy
Yeah.
who, he's like always into stuff and like drinking coffee and is like cracking wise and everything, which you're like, okay, that's fine when you're a cute little Pikachu, but you're an adult man.
But he
You are
doesn't
this
know that.
man's-
He doesn't know he's an adult.
And
man.
also,
Yeah.
he's been a bit of a deadbeat dad, so maybe he is immature. And
Yeah, that's right.
cracks jokes.
So then why it feels so weird to me that he's supposed to be like a father figure at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
When he is basically like a 13-year-old boy.
That's true. They don't ever really give you any hints, but maybe they just really don't want you on that trail at all.
Yeah.
I mean, but also like, okay, if you, it's an impossible scenario to even imagine that like you
I don't know.
lose all of your memories and then are suddenly in the body of a Pikachu. Like, how do you even know how to behave?
What do you mean? He clearly like he lost all of his memories, but it seems very clear to me that like his personality carried over.
Right.
Like
But
there's
he's
no
also
like
in like a
he's not
different
blank
body.
He
Like,
doesn't
how
think
do you
so.
understand that?
But he doesn't think so. He's not like weirded out. He's not like it's not like a body swap in the sense that he's like, whoa, how did I get into this Pikachu? That's so weird. As far as he knows, he's always been a Pikachu.
Right.
So there's no like it seems like there's no learning curve. As far as I can tell, this movie is telling us that the personality of the Pikachu is the personality of the human.
Uh-huh.
And we're supposed to, at the end, we're supposed to be like, oh, that's his dad. That's super weird that his dad is acting like that. Like, it's
I
super
s-
weird that that's his dad's personality.
Well, maybe it was like he got to test drive a new body, so he was a little more sprightly and like energetic and like, a little more sarcastic than normal. I don't know.
I just thought it was Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay. Have you seen that Kevin Spacey movie where he goes into the body of a cat?
Oh no.
No, have you seen that? Have you seen that
I saw
movie?
the first 20 minutes of it because it was on Hulu.
Wait, what?
Kevin Spacey.
Is this a recent movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the past probably like 18 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right before Kevin Spacey just collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we canceled him.
He's canceled.
Yeah, no, it's a movie where he like enters the body of a cat.
Oh.
And I guess there is no reciprocal where there's like a Kevin Spacey body running around with a cat brain in it.
Right.
That
Which
would
is the
too
movie
bad.
I want to see. I didn't have a point with that.
Yeah.
So we can move past it.
Yeah.
The
Well,
point is you got to suspend your disbelief, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, yes, clearly. But it just really, I hated it. I hated
Yeah.
that. I hated
Yeah.
that twist.
Yeah, they do a lot of it's like a lot of body swapping logic that isn't always the same. It's like sometimes it's a full swap, sometimes it's like an energy swap.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because when we get to the end and Bill Nye is controlling the Mewtwo, he's like remote piloting it. He's not
Right.
Yeah.
actually.
He's like a Professor X. type.
Yeah,
thing,
because he
right?
has the brain control thing. However, the purple gas.
Makes everyone disappear into the
Yes,
Pokemon.
that's why it's confusing because there are different versions of doing this.
But they all are aware of themselves. Whereas when Ryan Reynolds is inside Pikachu, he doesn't remember.
and that power came from Mewtwo, who is just like the most powerful, all-knowing,
Yeah.
Right, because
powerful
Mewtwo's
being.
like an evolution. In the movie, they talk about this a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Like an evolution. Well, a scientifically engineered evolution of Mew.
He's a
which
in the
human.
movie.
which I think is
Yeah.
from like original Pokemon.
It's
stuff,
like a
yeah.
man-made Pokemon.
Yeah.
That they found the Mew, the ancient Mew, and they were like, we can make this better. We
So
can
this
make
movie's
it
also like
uncomfortably
Jurassic
sexier.
World.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they basically were like, we need to make a Pokemon movie. Let's take
Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit,
Zootopia.
Batman,
Batman.
and Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just mix them all
And
together.
Deadpool.
And Deadpool,
And
right.
Mix them all
Deadpool.
together.
Yeah.
Throw them into a blender, blend on low, and then pop
Add
it out.
ice.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are
So
let-
they escape
back to
from
the end of the movie.
they escape from the monkey things, and they kind of knock themselves out of their their evil state.
Right,
And
it
then-
wears off.
It wears
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, Pikachu's like, hey, there's a reason why I can talk to you. Like, clearly, and you can understand me. Like, clearly, we have a connection. We have to do this together.
Yeah.
And Tim reluctantly agrees. And so they go back to the apartment, and that's when we kind of learn a little bit more about Tim. They go into his room, and he has, like, a ton of Pokemon trading cards, and, like, on the wall were posters. It's basically just, like, he really wanted to be a Pokemon trainer when he was little.
Yeah, and his dad recreated his childhood bedroom and gave him was gonna send him a ticket so that he could come stay with him. But we see in a flashback that he didn't want to go with his dad. He wanted to stay with his grandma, so he didn't like his dad.
Yeah.
And I think the flashbacks were nice and succinct too. But is that the same flashback we find out that his mom got sick and
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
passed away?
Although maybe not.
He
We see
talks
there's like
about that a little
few,
later.
and
There
there's
are
like
a
a few
couple,
like flashbacks.
but I
Yeah.
think they're
type
nicely
moments.
sprinkled like quickly, so it's like okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, without like overstaying their welcome or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. But then Pikachu goes into like detective mode and like destroys the house and has like evidence everywhere and like little like the string.
Yeah, it's very Mel
Citrus,
Gibson.
like,
in
"You're ruining my
Conspiracy
life's
Theory."
work.
Yeah.
There's also the coffee. Oh, did we skip over the part where they go get coffee? We skipped
I
over
think
that.
'cause, yeah, right after they escape from the monkeys,
that's
they
right.
like go to a bar, but at the bar they're just drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Even though Tim's 21,
Yeah.
he could have a beer.
He could. It could be an Irish coffee.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an Irish
It's
coffee.
a family movie that
It
we
is a
can't
family
know
movie,
that
you're right.
alcohol
You're right.
exists.
But we see
That duck thing.
Jigglypuff is singing, right?
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Put its owner to sleep.
That
'Cause
seemed
he-
like the saddest, realist relationship in this movie between a guy and his Jigglypuff who's like, come on, Jigglypuff, we're going out. You're going to knock me out at the bar. And I'm
Oh
just
my
going to fall asleep in a
gosh.
booth.
It's very funny.
What was that? Okay, the like bartender duck thing.
Oh, I
was
loved
so
that.
funny.
Oh,
So funny.
yes.
Yeah, it
And
was
like,
real weird.
yeah, Pika just kept being like, "Give me another, thanks, babe,
And they'd be
thanks."
it was just like so abrupt. The blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they're just see, this is so much funny Pokemon business.
Yeah.
And we kind of that all like goes away in the second 2/3 of the movie.
Yeah. I liked meeting all the different Pokemon.
Yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
thought that was like the
Mhm.
most fun part is when they were like in the city, like just like interacting with other Pokemon.
It might be
Yeah.
skipping ahead, but is it soon we meet the jester one, right? The mime
Oh,
one.
the
Mime,
mime, that
Mr.
mime.
Mime.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So let's kind of like scrub ahead to
Yeah.
to the mime.
The
So like
mime.
Tim and Pikachu discover that, or they just like kind of put two and two together that like there is something going on here that
Yeah.
they need to
their
investigate.
Yeah,
dad
they-
was connected to, who had like a Pokemon informant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they go to the girl Lucy, who then
Yeah.
tells them that, cause she is also on the same case, and she's like, it's at the docks. So they go, and the informant is the
Mr. Mime.
Mr. Mime.
He's so funny.
This was
I was laughing out loud.
this was my favorite scene.
Oh my
Yeah, this is
god.
Because this was in the trailer, and I was like, oh, all the funny parts were in the trailer, but no.
No.
There are a lot of other funny parts.
Yeah.
And it gets like weirdly dark when
It's-
he
Yeah.
like threatens to like burn the Mr.
Yeah.
Mime
Yes,
Right,
with
yes.
fire.
Because basically what Tim figures out is like you have to just play along.
Yes.
Like you just have to like mime along with
Yes.
in order to get the Mr. Mime
Oh,
to talk.
because Mr. Mime did this whole like the
I'm
first
in a
thing was like a whole
box.
death throw thing when they
Yeah,
met
yeah.
him, and then, they're like, oh no, oh god, he fell off. Oh, he's falling
Yeah,
to the
because
ground.
he's like running away, but it's in place. Then he gets on a bike, and then it's in place, and then it falls
he
down.
crashes.
He must have gone to UCB. Great
Yes.
space work.
Wow.
That
It
was
really
great.
was.
Space work.
Yeah, but he no, because the people nowadays don't do space work
No,
at
you know he
all.
went to clown school
He went
to
and
clown
he took
school,
mime
yeah.
classes because that is what you do
Yeah.
in mime clown classes. I
Yeah.
can tell you. And then they interrogate him.
He's
and
in a box.
in a box that he created that
Yeah.
they can't get
Which is like
past.
Mr. Mime's like one of his powers is being able to like
It's like
manifest.
put up a wall. Yeah, like actually make a physical wall.
Uh-huh.
What a funny
But
character.
Tim figures out like that. Oh, if you just like mime along with it, so he's able to like
Open
make a
the
door
door,
in the
yeah.
box, and then he's pouring gasoline on Mr. Mime, and the
Right.
scene ends with him
And
lighting him on fire.
Pikachu doesn't understand it, which I think is so funny that
Yeah.
like that Pikachu never gets to the point where he's like actively playing along because he doesn't get it.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
Yeah, but they managed to get information about him that they have to go to a battle an
Yeah.
underground battle
Yeah.
place.
Roundhouse.
And
Yeah.
this scene was like cool. It felt like a cool place.
Okay, so we're also mixing in a little bit of the first Spider-Man movie.
Oh,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
a little
Uh-huh.
bit of
Big Hero 6.
Yeah,
That's
the
what
battle
I got.
bots
Oh.
at
Yeah.
the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, even the surprise villain was also Big Hero 6. too.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
So they're
This
so
movie's got everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is really illegal. We're in this ring and they're betting on the Pokemon fights in a place that's supposed to be harmonious.
What do we know about Rhyme City? We don't battle Pokemon.
Whoa, no.
Yeah.
No, but here there's a man without a shirt
yeah.
who
What were those Pokemon that were like DJs?
I don't know, but that was I can't remember their name, but those were amazing as well.
Yeah,
They
but
were
they were just like
amazing, but they
beatbox
weren't-
speakers.
They
Yeah.
Yeah.
weren't cute though, I will say.
No, they were
Yeah.
not cute.
No.
so they have like big dragon Pokemon here.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are battling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow it ends up that
So
Pikachu
Suki Waterhouse is there. We see like a spy lady with sunglasses on, and she texts, "The boy is here."
Yes.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then something happens where there's a confrontation. Oh, because they recognize Pikachu.
Yeah.
Right. Apparently Pikachu had been there before and had beat the Charizard,
Charizard.
Mhm.
and like in battle, and he got the owner's like wearing like a big coat, and it had like singed or like ruined the coat.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll
But he
tell
also
you.
scarred the Charizard.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
pretty badly. And so the guy is like, I will wait. Sorry,
He wants a rematch.
he wants
Yeah.
a rematch. But okay, now I have another problem with Ryan Reynolds being the dad and being inside a Pikachu,
Okay.
because part of I assume the reason that this Detective Pikachu can't use his powers,
Ah.
right,
Yeah,
is because Ryan
he's-
Reynolds as dad doesn't like
Has never used
has
them.
never used them because he's not used to being inside a Pikachu body.
Right.
So how
Oh.
does he learn them to do it,
Well,
or is it one of those
he-
just like think and then do?
I think it's like he spends enough time in the body
Yeah.
that he then learns that. Because
It's-
like a Pikachu doesn't come out knowing how
Yeah.
to do all of its moves.
That,
It's
I
also
think that
that-
makes sense.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
also the
okay.
thing where like parents can lift cars when their kids are in danger.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah.
He has the adrenaline of
yeah,
the moment
yeah. Then he
drives
can do
him to be able to use like the special Pikachu powers.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
So then this guy is like rematch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want my Charizard to go up against your Pikachu again.
And then he's like, I'll rematch for information,
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah. So if he wins, he gets the information of where he's getting the R serum thingy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But during like Pikachu can't use his powers, and the guy before
Uses- Yeah, he uses the purple smoke, the R.
R.
Yeah.
he gives it to the Charizard, and then during their battle, because Pikachu can't fight, Tim like jumps in and like grabs the Charizard's tail,
Oh, and he starts to like stomp out the fire at the end of his
Man.
tail.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
and that like makes the Charizard go crazy. So the guy is like climbing into the ring, and he gets hit by the Charizard, and we find out that in his coat he has tons of vials of R, and they all
Just like
break.
just like tons of vials.
Yeah.
of R.
This guy.
And then-
Like the whole coat is just lined with
Yeah.
vials
So
of R.
good.
He's like that guy that opens his card and is like, do you want to buy
Yeah.
some? Like the
Jesus.
watch guy.
He's an R dealer.
He's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
art dealer, and he's in
Yeah.
an underground fighting ring.
Yeah.
He's a DJ, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, the
An unsavory
Pokemon.
character.
Yeah. But then all the Pokemon in the place go crazy.
Right. So Tim doesn't actually end up getting any information from this guy, does he?
No, he does he? He does at one point, right?
I thought he did it like the very end.
Yeah. He's like, I got it from a doctor.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So
Yeah.
we just know it has something to do with a doctor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so they end up getting out. What I don't understand is this whole time, I guess it's because Ryan Reynolds is inside him, but the Pikachu never turns bad, even though he's around that smoke constantly.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
Because clearly the physiology of of Pikachu didn't change.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, that's something that we see later in the movie when all of the people are being merged with their Pokemon, then they're no longer violent. Right?
Yes.
Even though they're
Oh,
still.
Because
sure,
you
they have
need
the
to be
consciousness of the
violent
person.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
order.
that's true.
He
That's
makes
true.
an off comment about you need to be violent in order for the human to be inside.
Or like to get in.
Yeah. Or something like that.
Weird.
Yeah.
The logic is weird.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's some like comic booky.
There's a Magikarp, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Uh-huh.
fish thing.
That just is flopping around.
Yeah. He also doesn't turn evil.
Oh.
Does he not turn evil?
No.
you're
No, it
right.
just
Even
evolves.
when he evolves into the
I think so.
Gyarados.
Yeah, no, he just
No.
gets angry.
Yeah.
and flushes them all out of the fighting ring.
Yeah.
Everyone gets kicked out,
Yeah.
flushed out.
That's when he finds out about the doctor, but then he gets arrested by the police. And
And-
that's when, yeah.
Oh, and I think that was probably for me like where the movie peaked. Like I think up to this moment it was like all fun, seeing all the Pokemon was awesome, but then now it gets really just like kind of boring. I
Yeah.
thought
Well, it's
like,
like
a little
now we
bit
gotta
dour.
deal with the problem that we have.
All the
Yeah.
and figure out,
information.
yeah, how to get there.
So we go to he and Lucy. I forget why
So
exactly
basically,
they get to
well,
this
because
point, but-
basically, like, Pikachu and Tim are convinced now that the dad is still alive,
Yes.
Right.
and so but when they're arrested, the detective, like his dad's boss, who we met towards the beginning of the movie, is like, "No, you're totally on the wrong path. Here's a video of the car being blown up,
Oh,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
way your dad could survive this."
Yeah, and he's like, "But did you find my dad's body?" is the question, and he doesn't really answer.
I think it's weird that the detective guy is like, no one could survive that, not even your dad.
Right.
Like his dad's Superman.
Yeah.
Or something.
some sort of like superhero.
Not
your
even
dad,
your
who is
dad,
famous for surviving car
yeah.
crashes, couldn't have even survived
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But then they're like, but how did Pikachu survive it? So that's where they have the hope about
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we actually get to the lab? Because I think
They meet with
Lucy's
they
doing
go to like Bill
research,
Nye.
right?
No. They go to
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
For whatever reason, they go to. Oh, he gets.
she's like on set of that commercial
No,
thing.
no.
No,
he gets-
the
he
woman
gets
comes.
summoned.
Yeah. The Suki Waterhouse woman comes and grabs him and brings to
He, like,
cause,
pulls up in
oh
the
yeah, because
SUV.
they're talking outside because he's like sad because he actually thinks his dad is dead, and that's when Pikachu says the thing about I want to hug you so hard your bones break.
Oh,
Yeah,
They have a
yeah.
heart-to-heart moment, and that's when the
Bones
car.
pop. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
and he's like, if your dad was here, right, he
Yeah.
would hug you so hard,
Oh,
right? And
I guess that was a hint.
Yeah.
And then
Didn't get
Tim-
it.
And then
God,
Tim
they
is
were
like,
laying it on real thick.
No, I know. I mean, I was like, I know the dad's got to be somewhere, but where could he be? Wow, now I feel dumb.
No.
and Tim's like, man,
I
I've been
didn't know.
I've been kind of mean to you this whole time. And Pikachu's like, yeah,
yeah.
you have been. And so that's when they're having like a heart-to-heart moment, and
Yeah.
then a big SUV rolls up.
And he's like, that looks like a villain car.
We
And
also
then-
said they also said they feel it in their jellies.
Yeah,
that,
that's a
the
big
dad's
thing, the
alive.
jellies.
jellies.
Yeah.
Feel it in my
Yeah.
jellies.
How did you guys feel about that?
I
About
thought
the
it was
in your
jellies?
jellies?
I thought it was cute, but I don't know what that means for a Pokemon.
Yeah. I thought
Do
it
they
was
not have
cute,
bones?
but
No, they have. I mean, presumably they have bones.
Because we see Cubone.
Yeah, cute.
That's
like
true.
wearing a skull.
That's
There
true.
you go.
Myth busted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just like a PG version of saying balls.
Yeah.
Oh, I
What?
thought it was like
The
feel it in my
bones.
gut.
Yeah, if you
Feel it in my
your balls.
bones.
I've
What?
never
Balls.
felt anything in my balls. So I thought it was like a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
but it's
is
like a
the
cute-
phrase.
It's a cute way of saying gut,
Yeah.
you know?
Or balls.
Yeah. I feel
You
it
don't
in
say
my
I feel it in my balls.
Who says I
Uh-huh.
feel it in my balls?
Man, sorry.
What?
We're not proud of it.
famous
Well,
say
I feel it in
colloquialism.
my jellies. So
Feel it in the boobs.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
What
I
can
think
you
I mean
trust in
clearly
your
yeah,
body?
we say that all the time. All the time.
I feel it in my butt.
See, now everyone can
That's
get behind
different.
that.
That's different.
That's
different
a different feeling.
Okay.
Just as sure, but it's a different thing.
yeah.
Mm.
So this sends them to a Pokemon research laboratory.
Yes.
Right. Well, I mean, sorry. The important part is that Bill Nye is basically saying, is that right, Bill Nye? I feel like I'm missing
Bill
a part
Nye.
because that's like Bill
Nye.
Nye, right?
Yeah, I
Nye.
feel
Bill
like
Nye,
Bill
is
Nye, the science guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Bill Nye, I think it might be
Nye.
Nye.
Okay.
Nye.
So what we find out is that he's the one who presumably hired Tim's dad
Yes.
to find
To
out
catch a Mewtwo in the first place.
Catch a Mewtwo in the
Mewtwo.
first place. And what Tim's dad found out is that Bill Nye's son
Right.
was like had this secret lab out in like the mountains.
Because he didn't like the idea of evolving for some reason.
Or
Yeah,
at least that's
no.
what we're
Or
led to
no,
believe
because
at
he
that
didn't like.
point.
Oh, because he didn't like the fact that his dad was taking his attention away from him because he was trying to better the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Quote,
Instead of
unquote.
spending time.
So
with
he
his son.
wanted all the Pokemon to go savage,
Yeah.
like
Right.
in Zootopia.
Yeah,
so
like
that
in Zootopia.
so that the world is bad and it's all his dad's fault, kind of thing.
Right. And is this where we see the hologram?
Yes.
Yes.
Or the flashback of the lab?
Yeah. No, he shows
No,
him the
that's
Well,
footage.
the car
the
first.
car
Yeah,
crash.
first.
Yeah.
He shows him the footage of the car crash.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Bill Nye's in a wheelchair, and so
Which he
he's-
mentions like every other sentence,
Right.
by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And so he said, I created this like holograph video thing.
Yeah.
So that
Right.
way, since I
can
can't
go
go to
out.
the world can come to me. Which like, first of all, you're super rich.
Yeah.
So like, if you wanted to go somewhere, you totally could. Well, we find out the holographs are a lie, anyways. So he could be lying, but
Yeah, it
Yeah.
shows that the Mewtwo shows up and it does something to Pikachu's brain,
it,
and
yeah,
then
just like removes his memories.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
we
Pikachu's
think.
like, oh, I get it. That's why
Yeah.
I have amnesia.
Yeah.
and
now."
then
Uh-huh.
steals his dad, like through like a
Yes.
Yeah,
like alien.
teleports.
So
He has his
now-
dad's body.
yeah
He has his corpse.
yeah
So now they're like, okay,
Well-
new mission. We got to find Mewtwo.
Yeah.
yes
Right. So let's go to the lab.
Mhm.
yes.
And this is where Lucy's like, I've got a car or something.
I've got
Yeah.
a tiny clown car.
Well,
Oh
she
my gosh,
knows
so
where
small.
the lab is because she does research on the computer.
I
She Googled it.
she has Googled it. She
Yeah.
has a tiny little car. Oh, because there was a power outage.
Yeah.
She's like, so it must be out there. I love her tiny little car.
Yeah, me too.
I love that Psyduck is sitting in the back seat. I love
Yes.
that they have like
Meditation.
booster seats for like the Pokemon to sit
Yes,
in.
yes,
'Cause you
yes.
have to buckle
Pikachu's in
them
a
up
car
because they're
seat.
tiny.
Yeah.
I love that they are playing. Like tantric
Meditation
music.
music.
Yeah.
Because Psyduck has to be calm at all times. Like I think that stuff is adorable. I
Yeah.
love that stuff. I
Once
wish there was
again,
more of that in
getting
the movie.
to the Pokemon is fun.
Mhm.
Watching them.
But then when they get to the lab, then things get like a little more like serious, and that's when they start like seeing like, oh, these Pokemon are being experimented on in this way, and what are the big turtles called? The like Earth turtles?
I don't know. That sequence was
Grand
so.
Turtle.
It was like a
Yeah.
Tortellini.
Terra?
A tortellini.
Yeah.
That sequence was so weird.
That sequence was weird when she was like, okay, you go, I'm going to go to the car and miss all the action. But that's the end of the sequence.
Right.
But that's what really irked me the most.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's also just like a little bit like paced weird too, because like
Yeah.
the Greninjas like get their way out of their like tubes, and then it's like 5 minutes of Tim and the Pikachu like scrubbing through the holographic stuff, where like we know these Greninjas are like out there messing something up.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
so we don't like join back up with Lucy and the Psyduck until like a little bit later.
Oh, yes. So they do see holograms of the doctor played by Rita Ora.
Yes, very weird. Like
Yeah, super random.
Yeah, she never comes back, and I was like, that's like a famous person.
Yeah.
And
And also,
you don't use
To
her.
only appear in
Yeah.
flashbacks.
yeah, you don't know what her intentions were in any
Yeah,
of
you
this.
don't know if
No.
she's
just
evil
there.
or
She's
not.
just a scientist.
Yeah. Because
She's-
I thought they made her out to be evil, but I don't know. She could just be a scientist.
Yeah.
she's just a lady.
Yeah.
As
She's just
far
like,
as we know.
oh, the equipment is here. And then
Yeah.
it's like,
Day one.
yeah.
The lab is almost up and running.
Yeah. But then we see so we see the whole Mewtwo explosion thing, but then
Which I don't know why we need to see any of that.
Yeah.
What do we learn?
well
so
we
Tim
learned
is
that
learning it,
yeah,
right?
and we also
But
learned that
also, what does he learn?
his dad was there. That's what we learned. That his dad was sent to go.
Didn't we get that from Bill Nye?
Yeah,
We did.
what-
It was a repetition of information.
Yeah, I don't know why we needed
Yeah.
that.
Is
And
sequence.
they
this what
literally
we
were like,
see-
it was so, she was like, okay, we need you to get Mewtwo, bye. And that was like, literally, we knew that. And they did it in a way that I feel like they just wanted to show you that they didn't want to show you the dad's face.
Yeah, oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
They never show the dad's face. It's
Well-
always like feet or like he's wearing a hat.
Or it's all in shadows.
Yeah.
You're totally
Yeah.
right. And that's why I was it makes sense in hindsight that we totally should have seen coming that like Pikachu was his dad, because the whole time when they were doing that I was like, whoever they like got to play this guy must be super famous. Like it's gonna,
That's what you were
Yeah.
thinking?
yeah, I was like, when he shows up, it has to be somebody that we're all like, wow, I can't believe they got this guy, because they were so cagey about showing the dad.
Yeah. But then also, isn't this when we find out that Pikachu was the one that set off the explosion?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is that this
Oh.
is when we see Pikachu like zap the things that are
Yeah.
holding the Mewtwo in place.
So
So
we
that's
see
when
the-
we learned that like Mewtwo may be good guy.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so
or the
confusing.
Pikachu was
Pikachu
also
bad.
bad guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
one or
Pikachu's,
the
like,
other.
in
Yeah.
league with him or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, everybody's status of like good or bad kept swapping, including like the old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I knew he
a
was
lot.
bad from the beginning.
Yeah,
you could
pretty
just
much, you
tell guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
you know?
Bad.
Old guy in a wheelchair, bad.
Yeah.
With a son, good or bad? I don't know.
Yeah, and you make the son look like such a butt that, like, of
Such a
course,
butt.
yeah, of course he's gonna be good in the end, you know.
But was he like good in the end, or was he just
He just
not
was was
evil?
like a privileged white guy,
Yeah,
evil,
yeah.
you know.
So inherently evil.
yeah,
So-
but not any evil than
That's
everyone else,
specifically
you know.
evil.
Oh, and all the while we learn, or like all the while this is happening, there's a parade that we learn. Oh, it's Pokemon Appreciation Day or whatever
Yeah.
it's
That's
called.
right. It's all like leading up to this like parade that's happening.
Yeah.
But
Right.
the thing that I thought was like the thing that I thought was super weird about the sequence when they're there at the lab, and then they escape from the Greninjas, and then all of a sudden the Earth starts like rocking and like
Inception.
Oh,
Yeah.
because of the duck.
no, because
No.
of the I guess maybe okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the Psyduck does pay off because the Greninjas are chasing them, and they like irritate the Psyduck so that way he has like a psychic break,
Right.
and it like sends a shockwave and sends the Greninjas flying. And is that what wakes up the giant tortoise
I
things?
think
It
so.
must be. Yeah.
Okay.
Because yeah, the Earth starts going crazy in a way that's like almost unfathomable, like how
Yeah.
much Earth is moving.
Right. And so for the end of that sequence to just be like, and then they go back to sleep and everything's totally normal.
Right. Well, so does
is
it turn
bonkers.
out that the lab the whole time has been built on the backs of giant Pokemon?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Even though they developed the giant
Well,
Pokemon in the
yes,
lab?
this is a very chicken or the egg, because we see those tortoise guys and they even make a point of being like, oh, but like where's their evolved version?
Right. Like,
Right.
this seems like a normal size to me.
Yeah, like I'm not even impressed by this. Oh well, gotta keep running and pressing buttons and stuff and like making things explode. And then I guess somehow they got underneath the lab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just it's like a really weird, because it's a big like action sequence, and
Mhm.
they're like jumping from log to log, and they get separated, and so Tim has to like leap and jump from
This
like
was a
one
very
giant tortoise.
stressful
to the other.
sequence.
That's right. I
so
don't know
that
why
he
the Psyduck
gets
didn't
separated
double
from
down on it.
Lucy, and
Yeah.
she's like, "I'll meet you at the car," right?
That was the part where she was. Oh well, that's
Well,
after
so- yeah.
Pikachu gets injured.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Pikachu's got his like end of ET moment
Not only
here.
that, but like we don't like. How did he get injured? They all
It
went
was
to
like
the
it was like-
water.
like- it
a
was like
large rock fell on
Oh,
him.
I didn't
yeah, like hit
see
him
that.
in the tummy.
All I know
Yeah.
is they all were like in the water, and he was like,
Internal
I can't go.
bleeding.
So yeah, and then she was like, okay, well, he's dying. I'm gonna go to the car.
Well, she can't go with, right?
Right, because the Bulbasaurs are like, no.
Yeah.
Which
Bulbasaur says no.
Which I loved. I loved all the
Bulbasaurs
The
were
Bulbasaurs
so
are so
So
cute.
cute.
The way they like walk, their little like gait,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they've got
adorable.
these big flowers on their back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
God, they're so
Oh
cute.
yeah, and this is another thing where she's like, they can't understand you. He's like, yeah, but they'll feel me.
Yeah.
They'll
Which is
feel
something
my
that
feelings.
Detective Pikachu had told him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So does his dad have a special connection with Pokemon, or is that just true of all Pokemon? Like,
Well, I mean,
all people. All people can.
That's
like,
what I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that like that's how communication?
Like how like
between-
dogs are empathetic.
Yes,
or
because
something.
normally they can't speak the same language,
Right.
so I assume it is just like
Okay.
a telepathic kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the Bulbasaurs like lead Tim to a mysterious place, and yeah, Lucy's just like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And so they lead him to like a clearing, and then suddenly
Mewtwo shows up.
Mewtwo
And
shows
it's
up.
like, oh, you brought me the boy, and for a moment I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, is Detective Pikachu bad?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
And he
then,
just
of
forgot that he was
course,
bad?
Yes, and he thinks that.
Mhm.
He's like, "Oh crap, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening either. I'm a bad guy."
Yeah.
But Tim's like, "That's okay."
Yeah. No, it was a pretty.
Tim's
They
ready for
didn't
death.
have that moment because it was very
Tim's
short.
depressed the whole movie.
It was
Yeah, it
very
was short. It was short.
Mewtwo shows up, heals Pikachu, and then it's like, you brought the boy, and then immediately Mewtwo gets captured.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
we don't really have a moment to be like, wait, is Pikachu bad? It just was like immediately Mewtwo was
Yeah,
captured.
and he's captured by the sun. So you're like,
Yes.
"Okay,
wearing
so
sunglasses.
wearing
Hint, hint.
Oh,
Yeah.
and so we're like, okay, we're led to believe, okay, Mewtwo is bad. The scientists are good. That's why they're capturing him. But Pikachu.
Oh, see, I thought at that point where I was like, oh, Mewtwo is good, and this guy is bad. Clearly,
Yes.
that's why he's like capturing him.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I thought he was him and not the Ditto.
Yes.
But it was
Um,
still confusing because I don't know, because of the Pikachu thing where he's like, "Oh, I'm bad."
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're, at this
A
point,
lot happens in that
we-
like
yeah.
30 seconds.
we are in like the point of a like noir mystery movie where like nothing sort of makes sense. You know, like there's always a point where you're like, I don't know who's on what side and like what we're right before there's like real clarity
Sure.
on character
sure.
motivations.
Yeah. But I feel like this movie didn't earn that. It just felt like confusion versus like because it doesn't Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which this movie apes a lot from, we've said multiple times, like does a really good job of just capturing the spirit of a noir film.
Yeah.
This movie wants to do that, but doesn't have the style or the pacing or like even the setup to have those moments of like where you're like, oh, I think maybe I don't understand anybody's allegiances. Because like Claire and me and you, like
Yeah.
we all got different stuff out of
Right.
that like 30
Yeah.
seconds,
Same
and
here.
none of it was just like it was all just like what instead of being like, wow, like maybe the things I thought were true were not true.
Well,
Well,
it's,
okay, so it's no Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Well, yeah, that's an Academy Award
That's right.
winner.
Winning.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't it win like an honorary award?
yeah, I have no idea.
Something
All I
like
know
that?
is it's
special achievement in filmmaking.
yeah,
it was
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
It was a lot.
That's a good
happening.
movie.
That is a good movie.
So why I can't remember, why does Pikachu and Tim, why do they separate? Is it because Pikachu thinks he's bad?
Yes. He thinks he's bad, so he's like, I'm just gonna go on my own.
Yeah, he's like, you
Yeah,
can't
I
trust me.
might-
I
I
can't
might
trust
hurt you.
myself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you go do whatever you're gonna
Yeah.
do.
Although Tim very blindly is like, no, I know you. Like, I know your soul. You would never hurt me.
Do you
Yeah.
think
It's
Tim
like,
knows what's going on at this point?
No.
No.
No. he
No.
has idea.
No. He
No.
just is like, you're cute. You can't ever be me.
Yep, exactly.
Which is, I
Yeah.
think, also what the audience is feeling too,
Yeah.
right? That we're
Totally.
like, no, just stay with the
Because
Yeah.
also
don't
they
break up, stay with the Pikachu.
they just had a moment where Tim and Pikachu just had like, because he called him his partner,
Right.
And so
Oh, that's
like
right.
he's already accepted him in as his
Mhm.
partner,
Which is big for Tim, because of course the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie he's like, I'm a loner, baby.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
pin me down. I'm like the wind.
yeah. Wait a second.
It's a direct quote, right?
Sorry, but when he goes into his dad's apartment the first time and there's a movie on the TV, is it the movie?
It is 100% from
Home
Home Alone.
Alone.
Yes, it
okay.
is.
Which is a
That
fake,
was
Not a
weird.
real movie.
No.
No,
It's a
it's not.
fake movie.
But I think that is very clearly. I mean, I
Oh.
thought it was fun, but it's very clearly tipping the hand of this movie, where it's like we are trying to capture people of our generation
Okay.
in
Oh, yeah.
addition to a younger generation that would like Pokemon. I don't think little kids would like this movie, by the way. I think it's
You don't think so?
I think they would like the first part and then the
Oh.
lab. Once they get to the lab, I think, if I may speak for a child,
Uh-huh.
like they would have
Please,
the experience
Mark.
I had, where like they had like the big fight with Charizard, and it'd be like, ooh, fun, exciting, and then all the stuff afterwards at the lab is just kind of like dull, like it's
Yeah.
filmed really
Yeah.
like gray
Well,
and
and
dark.
there's like it
and,
is like info being thrown at you that constantly keeps changing. and
Yeah.
you're
well,
like,
and this movie
"Whoa."
does like
But I think
something
that's
that's-
true of most movies that I watched as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like the last 45 minutes of E.T. I'd never wanted to watch when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Even
That-
the Roger
oh,
Rabbit, like I wanted to see like up until, geez, I don't really know when I would like duck out on Roger Rabbit as a kid. But I think that's like a common thing that like when you get to the point where like the stakes in the movie need to matter, that
Yeah.
it becomes like less interesting or less fun for a kid.
I will say I did sit next to a kid, and the beginning when they were like all the Pokemon were being introduced, that he kept being like, "No, Charmander,
so
Squirtle."
cute.
He like got super
That's
excited
really
for
fun.
the squirrel. Yeah, so I think the kids like the parts where you see all the Pokemon, the fun part.
Yeah,
me
which
too.
seems
That's
like
the part I
that-
like.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So they go back to the city,
yes,
and this is where parade is happening.
yes,
Yeah.
And so then Lucy is gonna try to like reveal that it's the sun is bad, and then Tim is going to go meet up with the big guy, what's his
Bill
name,
Nye.
Clifford,
Bill- yeah.
yeah, Bill Nye, to tell him what happened, and that's when
Well, also at this part is when Pikachu's by himself.
Yes.
He's like walking down the road, and he comes to the bridge where like the car accident happened.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he's having a weird like it's
he sees a
Greninja star.
Yeah, so then he's like, "Oh, the Mewtwo must have been protecting the car from the Greninjas."
And this is all visualized for us.
Yeah.
Like one of the
But
holograms.
this was not
Yeah.
necessary, and he even says later, "Oh, my thing didn't matter," or whatever. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, my info wasn't as big as this."
Yeah.
So it just gets literally
Yeah.
thrown away.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, you would have seen this in the video, the hologram, but it wasn't in there because he's bad. He
Right.
showed us what he wanted us to see." So then he starts running.
Oh right, because he's like Tim's in danger.
Yeah.
So I have to like go save Tim.
But
How Pikachu gets from
No.
all the way out there to the city.
yeah, because the
And-
drive was super long,
The
and
drive was
also
super long.
in the beginning of the movie, he spends so much time talking about how he can't walk that far.
Yeah.
because he's so
I assume
tiny.
he just because we see him ride like some bird Pokemon later in the movie. Maybe he just rides a different Pokemon to get back to the city.
Yeah,
Okay.
You can just ride a Pokemon.
Maybe it's also part Sonic the Hedgehog, and he's able to run very fast, even though he can't
No.
walk.
Oh sure,
No.
yeah, because that's right. He never says I can't run really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. At no point does he not say, "I'm not also Sonic the Hedgehog."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
So
have to assume.
debunk that.
but the drive to the lab or whatever reminded me a lot of when they were driving to the lab thing in Captain Marvel. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
So then I was like, what if this is the same universe? And they find Brie Larson, they get in a car with her, and she drives Pikachu back to
I would have
Red
liked
City.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brie Larson. That can be her job in all blockbuster
Yeah.
movies in 2019. Is just
She's-
to bring the main characters back
Yeah,
together.
yeah. She shows up in her car and is like, "Do you need a ride?"
Yeah,
Okay,
she's
get
like
in."
the mom of movies in
Yeah,
general.
yeah.
There we go.
Anybody need a ride?
Sorry, I'm late.
This way. I just want to make sure you get home safe.
Yeah.
You
So
need snacks.
you
I
need
have
snacks?
some. I sliced some apple.
just let me know. Yeah, text me when you're home safe.
So they're so the parade is happening.
Yes.
They're filling the parade balloons.
But-
Like they're like Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade balloons.
I think the Pikachu one probably is.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Like an
But
actual, yeah.
immediately I'm like, they're filling them up with gas. It's got to be R.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we've all seen Batman.
Yes.
That's right. This is where the Batman connection comes in. Before
Yeah.
we R,
Yes.
why is it called R?
Oh,
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
Do you know what? I thought at first it was, and I'm blanking on it. You know the attract or whatever you get in Lure. What
Yeah,
is it called?
lure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was at first.
Oh.
That he like opened up like Lure,
Yeah.
and so it was gonna like attract all the Pokemon.
I assumed it was gonna have something to do with like Team Rocket.
That's what I was thinking too. I don't know Pokemon that much, but I was like, isn't the main bad guy's Rocket or something like that? R.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But then they're just like,
It's just called R.
It's just called R.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's just a nod.
Yeah, you
Ritalin.
think it's Ritalin?
Yeah.
The Pokemon can't focus.
Stands for Rachel.
Aw.
Stands for rambunctious.
Yeah.
It does make them rambunctious.
it's
So
like
this is
such a tame word for what happens.
Yeah.
not rabid, not rage.
No.
Not...
So this is when we meet up with Bill Nye and he reveals that he's the bad guy.
Which
right?
is so stupid. His plan
Yeah.
or like what he wants to do is so dumb.
Yeah.
I
So-
want to control Mewtwo while I make everybody else jump into their Poke bodies.
Because that's that's what human perfection looks like, is being a Pokemon.
I like the
Yeah.
thing that's the weirdest about it is that like for a second I get it because he's like I'm gonna put my brain into the body of Mewtwo,
And
It's
you're like, great,
great, yeah,
perfect.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
Those
been frustrated,
thighs.
being right.
Those
Get
thighs, oh.
that mysterious crotch, and then you can like fly around.
Where's the tail come from? Oh, what's it attached to? I don't get it.
Yeah.
But then he's like, yeah, now I'm also going to force this on everyone else.
But not
Yeah.
force this on. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
it is forcing that on everyone else.
Well,
But they get it. He gets to keep his body, presumably. Presumably, he could like go back and forth, right? If he wanted to, he could be in Mewtwo. He could
Well, I
be in
mean,
his-
at some point he has to be, like, isn't his Ditto going to inhale R at some point, and then he gets merged with his Ditto?
what?
oh.
His Pokemon, like his actual like buddy Pokemon, is the Ditto, right? The shape-shifting Pokemon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
So like if that thing was breathing R, and then he as Mewtwo blasted it,
Right.
then he would have like, right? He would have like knocked himself out of the Mewtwo and into the
I think.
Ditto. I don't know.
It might be a thing, like-
Mewtwo's the one who's actually like using his powers
Yeah.
to put the
Yeah.
people into the Pokemon.
So
So-
you think Mewtwo is like doing the math and being like that person goes with this Pokemon, or is just like a blanket magic spell that's just like the people combined with the Pokemon they've bonded with?
Yeah, I think that's it.
This
I
is-
think that's what.
Every time you're saying Mewtwo, I'm hearing
You
Mewtwo.
Yeah. So Bono and the Edge are out there. Just
So he goes
blasting
into
people with good
he's
You know
vibes.
a
what?
new member of U2.
It's very much like how they just put their album on everyone's phone.
It's just like that.
yeah, he
It's
forces
like, we didn't
them.
ask for this.
Right. And then suddenly, bam, we all have songs of experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And we're
like
all
they think they're doing us a
stronger.
favor.
Yeah, we're
right?
all
But
better
no.
for it.
I need to delete that.
So,
But yeah, his plan. I just like didn't get it. I just didn't understand like why
Yeah.
he wanted to do it.
and
There
he just
seemed
starts
to be like no
destroying
motivation.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
You know, crazy people do things with that are illogical. You know?
Yeah. He's got too much power. No one's checking him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I guess his son could, but
But his son is taped up in the closet.
Yes.
Oh right.
Oh yeah.
Because we
he's
find out
duct
that
taped.
like the son that we've seen for most of the movie is actually like the Ditto.
Mhm.
Yes.
how long has his son been in his closet for? Because I was thinking, like, if they wanted to actually trap him, he would just be like in another room.
Yeah,
Like, he
you
could be watching Netflix or
I think
something,
the
right?
got
son-
like guards, right? Like,
Right.
You could lock him up somewhere.
And who did that? Did the
Yeah.
Dittos do that?
Yeah, it must have been the Ditto.
Yeah, it was
But-
the ditto.
So, and why does the Ditto know that Tim? Oh, I guess they were hanging out. I was gonna say that Tim likes that girl.
Oh, because the Ditto morphs into that girl.
Uh-huh.
And then he can't hit her because he's attracted to
Even
her.
though he
Ugh.
should have, because she was crazy
And
looking.
a
Yeah.
Those
Ditto,
eyes.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't actually be hitting her.
Yeah.
Well, and he makes a joke that he's like, in this case, I would be okay hitting her.
And then
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Which is-
Yeah, and then
which
he
is
does
just
it,
like a weird.
and then it's like cut away.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I think the son gets captured sometime in between, like when they're filming the promo for the parade, and he's being a butt to his dad
right.
because he's not wearing sunglasses there. So I assume anytime he's not wearing sunglasses, he
It's
is.
him.
It's his real son.
Yeah, I would buy that.
How come the Ditto can't use real eyes?
I think that's just like the one foible in the
Yeah.
Ditto's
It
like
can't,
powers.
it can't see its own eyes. It can look everywhere else. It doesn't even know.
Yeah.
Oh sure, it doesn't know that it messed up the eyes.
Because it's the one part of the body it can never
It's
see.
like I must have nailed this because
It's
everything
like-
else is good.
Nose, yep. Forehead, eyes, I can see.
So I'm assuming we're good to go.
go. That is so funny.
But then Pikachu shows up, runs into Lucy, who's now Psyduck, who then tells him what's going on, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
that all
then
tracks.
that's when he all is like, oh, I guess I didn't really need to rush back for this. You guys knew what was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is when he's like, oh, my thing doesn't matter at
Yeah,
all. 'cause
that whole
everyone's being turned
5-minute sequence that was animated and storyboarded didn't need to be
Yeah,
done.
but it kind of also like brought the audience along, so then we were more like, oh no, Tim's with him.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing I thought was weird about his like bridge sequence was he's like visualizing the Greninjas being there, I guess, and so we're seeing that, but we're seeing it like the holograph type thing from earlier.
Yeah.
It's like mixing visuals in this movie.
It's like that grayscale version of the hologram because there's like a full color version, but there's also like the hint of a.
yeah.
Yeah, so there are maybe just too many different kinds of showing you something that's not happening right then
There's
in this movie.
too many of that and too many of body swapping options.
Yeah.
Body swaptions.
Body
Swaptions.
swaptions.
Wait.
So many.
Because when do they find out that what actually happened?
Which part of which
Uh,
actually, what
the
actually
way
happened?
Sorry,
end.
when do they find out that
The
like
way end.
Yeah, like
how do they
things
find
have
it out?
resolved.
Because Mewtwo tells them
Yeah.
at the end.
But don't we see it visually
I
Yeah.
think
in
again,
like a flashback?
I think this is
Yeah.
another where the
Oh.
movie's like it's either the detective being a detective or holograms or a flashback.
Yeah.
Who cares at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a big fight with like before that with
Yeah.
like Mewtwo. He's like flying around and Pikachu's bouncing on balloons.
Yeah.
And
And then Tim is fighting and
The
hanging off of
Ditto.
a building. Yeah.
oh yeah, and then the sun,
Sun
the
escapes.
good sun, like gets up, hits the Ditto out of the window.
Another Home Alone connection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
hits-
son.
hits the Ditto out of the window, but then the sun gets knocked out
Yeah.
from like an explosion, which was another moment of like, guys,
Oh yeah, but he
like,
gets.
that was so random.
But what I liked is that he got knocked out, but hit his head on something that was on the ground after he slid, and I was like, "Dad, you don't see that in movies. You don't
No,
see like
yeah,
an
that's a-
actual."
and
Yeah.
you got like a satisfying like thunk when he hit his
Yeah.
head.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you would get hurt by that thing that's in the room."
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a slight detour, but there was a trailer for the second Angry Birds movie before this,
Yes.
where there are like pigs dressed up as a bird in the bathroom, and there's like another bird in there.
Yes.
And there's like a scene where they like knock the bird over and like he hits his head on the like,
Multiple
sink.
things,
Yeah, like that bird died, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you know you're getting old, though, is that you watch those
Yes.
types of things and you no longer think it's funny. You're just like, oh, that would really hurt.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that would really
that would
hurt.
kill you.
Not to bring
yeah.
it up again, but all of Home Alone.
Yes.
Sadly,
Yeah.
like the very first thing that happens would kill those burglars.
Yeah, but they keep trying, man. They
Yeah.
have got perseverance.
They're the heroes of that movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fall
just
down
like what's
7
his
times, stand up 8. Am I
same
right?
as what's his face's dad, Tim's dad. They're like they can just persevere.
yeah.
They just
Yeah.
keep taking it. So then what? Pikachu wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. No, like
Basically.
Yada yada yada.
No, he doesn't even. He doesn't even. Like Tim takes off the headset. Isn't that what
yeah.
happens?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh right, he distracts. They distract. Pikachu
Yeah.
distracts. What's his face? Mewtwo, but it's Bill Nye, and then they take the head thing off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought for sure Tim was going to put on the headset himself and set everything right. But
Oh.
instead,
No.
Oh, that was so lazy. Yeah.
instead the Mewtwo was just like,
Oh, right. I should
Yeah.
fix this.
Yeah.
No, literally, he's like, no, I think Pikachu's like, you can fix this, right? And Mewtwo's just like, aye, aye. It's not even like, hey, thank you. Wow, what
Yeah.
great power you have. It's just like assumed that he's going to fix it.
Yeah.
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 And, like in the first place, when he was like merging the bodies, it was like, here's a little pulse of it here and a pulse of it here. And it was like clearly taking him a while and there was like chaos ensuing.
Yeah.
And then to fix it, he's just like,
Yeah, he like Tasmanian devils around. Yeah. Or yeah,
It's
just
just
that
done.
one little
It just like happens
Yeah.
once.
sonic
Yeah.
boomy thing.
Well, before
Mhm.
he's distracted because he has Bill Nye inside his brain, so he can't do it all at once.
oh, you think he's more powerful without Bill Nye inside his head?
Yes.
Oh, also the kind of like culmination of this, the emotional peak of this for Pikachu, like the conclusion of his arc is he remembers how to use his powers, and so he like
Yes.
uses
Yeah.
his
Well,
like
so-
special move.
Is it that he remembers it? 'Cause that is definitely part of it, is that he remembers his powers, but he does what Tim told him to do, right?
Yes.
That like
Oh, right.
it's almost really more finishing off Tim's arc of like his advice as a Pokemon trainer it like gets Pikachu to.
Oh, that's totally
Yeah.
true.
Oh yeah. He's
Because
like, oh yeah, my best move.
yeah, because when they're in the roundhouse initially, Tim's like telling Pikachu like you could use this move, you could use this move against Charizard, and Pikachu says something to the effect of like, "Wow, you really would have been a good trainer,"
Yeah.
like something like that.
So the fact that he uses that move, like that's more about Tim than it is
Oh
about.
yeah, but the movie doesn't sell it that way. I feel like that should have been more of like a moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's weird that Tim's not there for.
Yeah,
it.
they like should have cut to Tim and he'd be like, yeah.
Right,
I did
exactly.
that.
Or like he's like,
Yeah.
you know, like there.
I told you, Pikachu. I told you.
Or just been like, you know how in movies they're like, do it, like use the move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Pikachu would have been all the way across, being like, I should use the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have been telepathically
Mhm.
communicating.
He just
Yeah.
knows what he's feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, after all of this is like been resolved,
Yeah.
then that's when is it the Mewtwo who's like, oh, by the way, here's what happened.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember. That's
Yeah,
what,
it's the Mewtwo. Yeah.
Also, the Mewtwo's so kind and nice after all this terrible stuff that has happened.
right. I
to
mean, he
him.
does make a point of being like, I thought humanity was terrible, but this Pikachu was willing to like let.
Yeah.
But it's not the
Huge.
No,
Pikachu.
it's not the Pikachu. It's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it's Harry.
No,
Yeah.
no. Sorry, but isn't
Harry,
Because
good
he
man,
says
by the
that
way.
Harry
Humanity.
good man.
Yeah.
Yes, right away I was like, okay.
All right, guys.
No. But
Let's-
sorry,
He is
calm
a
down.
Harry good man. As Pikachu.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh.
No. But like Mew is saying,
Mewtwo, but yes.
oh yeah,
Mewtwo.
isn't he? So when we see what happens at the car crash,
Yes.
Harry Goodman is like knocked out, right?
Yes.
And
but
or
the
dead. Yeah.
Pikachu is the one who, I guess, to Mewtwo is saying you can put his consciousness
Yeah.
Inside my body.
into
For
me.
some- yeah, he's like, I could be a placeholder.
So this is not Harry's choice.
No.
No.
It's Pikachu's choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pikachu is the generous
And
one.
so Mew's like, it's a good thing I have those powers, and then does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I like the reveal there that the Pikachu was wearing the hat before it had Harry's consciousness in his body,
Yes.
which just means that this Pikachu, this normal Pikachu, was always wearing a little detective
And
hat.
Yeah.
what's the girl's name?
Lucy.
Lucy. Like
Lucy.
she makes a point when she sees Detective Pikachu for the first time of being like, "Oh, your Pikachu's wearing a hat." So it's very clearly unusual.
Yeah. It
the
was
world.
always unusual.
Yeah, it was always unusual. It wasn't because he had Ryan Reynolds' consciousness in him.
That's
that
right.
He decided to wear the hat. He was just always wearing the hat
Yeah.
with Harry Goodman's address inside.
Yeah.
What? Like it's his lost puppy to be returned or something?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean,
Return
like
to.
the Pikachu doesn't have a separate
Or-
address.
Wait, are we saying that like it was Harry's hat?
No,
And
it
then
was
No.
Pikachu's
puts
hat.
It's
it on-
Pikachu's hat,
Oh, okay.
but it's like a collar type thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where it
Oh,
has his
okay, that's
address
right.
in it.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
So,
But-
anyways, yeah, we find out that
That he's
Mewtwo.
inside of him, and then we cut to a scene where we see Ryan Reynolds. It's revealed.
where was his dad's body?
What-
Inside. It's like
Inside. Yeah, 'cause
when
all
all
the
the
other
the body was
Yeah.
inside.
The body got
Somehow,
sucked
because the
in.
bodies
Yeah.
I
go
thought it was
inside.
just the consciousness.
No.
Lucy's body disappears when she goes inside the
Inside
side.
side
Oh,
act.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
that's his
Too
full
many
power.
swaptions.
There
Yeah.
are a lot of swaptions here.
Yeah. But then we see that it's Ryan Reynolds, and then he's got the ticket for him to go home. But then that's when he's like, "No, I want to stay with you, Dad."
And throws the ticket in the garbage. A waste of
It's
money.
yeah, it's already
Yeah.
paid for.
I feel like you
Excuse
could go
me?
back to the ticket counter
Yeah.
and say, like, I'm sorry, I know
Well-
we just bought this.
Look, my dad was in the body of a Pikachu, and I just found
I don't need to
out.
explain to you.
I
We
know.
were all in the bodies of
Okay.
Pokemon.
Right,
an
exactly.
hour
Yeah.
ago.
But then I saw after he throws it in the trash, I saw a Pokemon jump on the trash, and I thought it was gonna pull it out.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, and then keep it. And I thought he
And
was
then
gonna
go
be like,
live with
"No."
grandma.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be funny if then, in, like, the post-credit sequence, it's
Yeah.
Grandma raising.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
heard
see,
about
I
what
love
happened in
that.
Rhyme City and
Yeah.
assumes
Assumes
that this is Tim.
Oh, I love that.
But then what's sad is the Pikachu is now Pikachu again, and he doesn't talk.
He said,
Yeah.
Pika Pika.
Pika Pika.
It's fun, though. They're
Yeah,
just back to
he's
normal.
cute.
But I was so like weirded out at this point that Ryan Reynolds was his dad.
Yes, because
Just
what's
because I
the
was-
age difference there in real life?
Huh?
I think he's old enough
Probably
to
like
be his
20
dad.
years, I would guess. I bet
No.
Ryan Reynolds is in his 40s.
He's in his 40s.
Is
He's got to
he?
be, yeah.
I'm gonna Google it.
I mean, Two Guys, a Girl, and Pizza Place was like
yeah.
20
yeah,
years
Also,
ago.
he's
Like, it
got
was-
some like salt and pepper now.
he does, which I think was
Yeah.
a very purposeful
Yeah,
choice
they
Right.
did
to
that on
like sell
purpose.
the age thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's weird that like the personality of Detective Pikachu as a human man.
I mean, I think this is actually a quality of all body swap movies, is that there is an inherent weirdness about like the lie that characters are telling each other.
He's 42.
He's 42.
So yeah, so he would have been 21.
20 years.
when-
Yeah. Difference.
There's always a weirdness about like people either not being honest about who they are or about age differences or whatever. Like in any movie like that, I feel like there's an ickiness that you just gotta like.
But usually in a movie like that, the people who are swapped, like it's understandable why one would have like a really low maturity level.
Mhm.
So it's like, oh, a 13-year-old got swapped with like an adult. So then you're like, yeah, that makes sense that the 13-year-old would be acting like a 13-year-old. In this, it's a adult man,
42-year-old man
who really wasn't like swapped. It was just his consciousness was put into this Pikachu. And so presumably
I think that counts as a swap.
so presumably like that is his personality. He's like addicted to caffeine.
I
Yes.
think that
He's-
could be.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we're just saying that he's playing a PG version of Deadpool anyway.
But it just feels weird to have that be like the father figure.
Right. But I think that's the whole point is that he has not been a father figure.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
and then
not
he
like
needs to mature.
Yeah, and it's
I
not
see.
like it's been his father who's been present this whole time and like a great dad. It's like some guy who is living a bachelor lifestyle, being like a cool, like a detective, you
Yeah,
know.
that
So
makes
he's like
sense.
a cavalier kind of
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the end of the movie, right? We've
Yeah.
gotten there.
Yep.
yeah.
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 Cool.
But I thought the credit sequence was cool.
Credit
Oh,
sequence
yeah.
was cute. Yeah.
When like all the characters have like their Pokemon anime looking.
Yeah.
Oh, we
It's
did not
cute.
talk about the sad Pikachu moment where he's walking down the bridge before he has his like detective moment where he's singing the Pokemon theme song
Oh
to
yeah.
himself.
Oh my
That was very
gosh.
cute.
That
Very
was super
cute.
cute.
Yes.
And totally worked on the audience that we were in.
He's
Yes.
got
Like, everyone
tears
loved
in
it.
his eyes.
Yeah, his little like quivering lip.
I mean, I think they really
Pokemon.
nailed the Pokemon themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're all really cute. They all move and look basically exactly like you would expect them to.
I know people were weirded out by like the furriness of them, I think, when the
Mhm.
first trailer came out, but I liked it.
I think it was cool. It was also really cool how Pikachu got dirty.
yeah.
Mhm.
And like okay.
Yeah,
and when he got wet.
You
Yeah,
know when he got wet. But you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Totally.
his fur, like
he looked
as
like a wet cat.
yeah, like 'cause
Yeah.
as Tim was getting like dirt and stuff on his body or his clothing, so did Pikachu.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good animation.
Liked it. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Guys, we did it. We
We-
have seen and we've discussed Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
We did.
We don't render a verdict here, right? We don't say like good movie or bad movie.
I'm gonna
Or
say
rate
I
it.
thought it was a good movie. I
I
liked
liked
it.
it too.
I liked
I had
it.
a fun time.
Also, Claire liking this movie is surprising because you don't like any action.
Well, I don't like action that feels like it's halting the story, but I feel like a lot of the action in this kind of helped propel it forward. There were a couple where like the stressful one to me where the tortoise things were like moving the earth. I was like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
boy,
The
this is a lot.
Inception.
But
Yeah.
everything else I think I was like, okay, I get it. Like they're being chased by something or something they have to get to somewhere else. So I liked it.
Yeah. I had fun.
Yeah, me too.
That mime scene was the best.
Oh, that was so funny. Worth
Yeah.
it for that scene alone.
Worth it for that scene.
yeah.
Is there anything the two of you would like to plug?
We have a podcast called Inside the Disney Vault
Yeah.
on the Campfire Network. You can catch it anywhere you listen to pods. You can follow us on Instagram at Inside the Disney Vault.
yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for an entry point, both Patrick and I have been on the show in
Yes.
different
Yes,
episodes.
true,
That's
true,
right.
true. That's right. Well, okay, because Patrick, you did Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Yes.
Mhm.
And Mark, you did
Atlantis.
Atlantis. That's right. Yeah, both very fun apps.
yeah.
And so what you guys have done like the Disney canon now, right?
Yes. The feature Walt Disney Animation features, and now we're in Pixar for season 2.
Yeah, and we got a little mini ep. We got mini eps too. We've been talking about Pixar shorts, and
Ooh.
it's just a fun time. Very similar to what we did here today.
Yeah.
So you already know you like it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also Oscar Montoya is our third
Mhm.
co-host, and we bring guests on as well, like
Yeah.
you guys.
Like you
Now we're in a loop.
Uh,
Which
oh,
you
no.
guys were on episodes.
Yeah.
They were.
Is there anything we would like to plug? Oh my gosh.
Oh yes, and we also have personal Instagrams and
Oh
things.
yeah. I also have another podcast.
Oh, yes, of
You've
course.
got Hanks. You guys were on that too for
Yeah.
Mazes and Monsters.
That's right.
That was a fun episode. Yeah, but it's kind of like the Disney one, but I'm going through every Tom Hanks movie in order. But
Which
my
is such a funny premise. I
Yes.
think it's so good.
I love it.
It's
It's been very fun. A lot of them are good. A lot of them are bad. But all of them have Tom Hanks in it. Yeah.
Well, Claire,
Uh,
Rachel, thank you both so much for being
yeah.
on.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Wait,
Wait, what?
I did want to ask what would be our Pokemon companions.
Oh, this is a good way to. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Thought about it.
You've thought about it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know any of them
I
aside
think
from the
you named
four.
four.
I think you would be a Jigglypuff because you like to sing.
Oh, that's,
That's
Right.
good. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
Fun.
Jigglypuff is a good one.
Yeah.
Do they have to be ones that were in the movie?
No.
Okay. I think Rowlets are awesome, so I would hope that mine. Oh, but I don't like birds in real life, so I actually wouldn't do a Rowlet.
But it's not
I
real
would-
life. It's a Pokemon, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
different.
it's still
Different.
bird like.
Here's the thing with the Rowlet. It's like a round little bird, and it's got like a bow tie.
Oh.
No,
Sounds
it's super cute, but
adorable.
also when it like evolves, it's like a moody teenager.
Yeah.
I don't need that in my life.
I'll take that
Jeez,
moody
but
teenager
You were the
evolution.
one who chose it, and then immediately.
Rejected it.
I was thinking through the implications. That's what you're supposed to do before you become a parent.
No, you make a choice, and you stick to it no matter what happens, Mark.
I am going to say, I think it'd be cool to hang out with a Greninja.
Greninja?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be worried.
Yeah. I want one that's just chill. Maybe it is the Snorlax.
The Snorlax, that would be so much fun.
Here's the thing, Snorlax, you could sleep on its tummy.
Have you seen in Pokemon Let's Go, the most recent Switch Pokemon game, they allow you to like either to like ride Pokemon, and when you have like a big Snorlax, you just like hug its chest and it's
Oh.
like walking around. It's very cute.
I imagine it's like in Totoro where they just go sleep on top of it.
Totally,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's so charming.
Yeah.
Patrick, who are you?
I'm gonna go with the Rowlet.
Oh,
If
okay.
you're leaving
Oh.
it unclaimed,
Oh
I'll
man,
take the Rowlet.
nobody's gonna want to go to Patrick's house.
Why not?
Rowdy
A
teeth.
Rowlet like slamming doors,
It's just real
We just
moody.
need some space, okay?
chugging gamer fuel.
Thanks again for being on.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. So fun.
All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you enjoyed it, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. All that stuff helps us out tremendously. Also, go check out Inside the Disney Vault.
Yeah,
Right?
thanks again to Rachel and Claire for coming on the show.
Yeah, it was a super fun time and good for us to have someone else to talk about a movie with. I mean, like, we can talk about a movie,
Yeah,
but like,
much to the chagrin of everybody around us.
it's so much better when we've got friends to do it with us. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MK Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society. We also have a Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society, so go there. 2, Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.